Let's go through LeetCode 348, design Tic-Tac-Toe. And for this question, it have a n multiple by n board. And there are two players. And it let us, for the constructor, it is n, right? And let us to design to write this kind of function for the move. And that is for the move, we can have the row column, and the player, it can be 1 or 2, right? And for each step, we need to check on whether, for example, this player will win. If it wins, just return this player. For example, for this step, if player 1, right, put in the row and the column, it wins, return player. And if the player 2 placed in this row and the column, we also return this player 2. If this tie, just return 0 for each step. So for this question, we know, right? We can for each step, it in a row I and a column j, right? It may only affect for this row I or this column j, right? So we can have a rows array, integer array, right? Rows and integer array columns. And for each row, we just count, have something to count, right? So we can have an integer array to represent the counts. And for player 1, right, we can convert this one to be +1. Convert player 2, we can convert a value as -1, right? So for each row, right, we have rows this I will plus equal to, if it is +1, right, then plus, right? If it is -1, then minus. The related column, the same thing, right? For the diagonal, is that if row equals to column, right, then we can have DG1, right, plus, or if it is -1, minus, right? And if row plus column equals n -1, right, then we have DG2, right? DG2 plus or equals, right? So for every step, we check if this one equals to n or -n, right? If this player 2, the -n. If this column j equals n, or -n, right? Or this DG1 or DG2, they already form a line. For every step, we do a check. So let's begin to write code for this. So this will be similar to another question we just did a moment ago. So we can have rows and array columns. Of course, we can have a DG array, right? But actually for this one, we just need to have DG1 equals 0. Just 2 parameters will be fine, right? Because we don't need to pass it in any functions. We can have 2 variables for this. So we'll have rows equals int and columns equals int n. Let's have a n variable because we want to put this n also have a global variable, right? Size beginning as 0 and size equals to n. Okay, so let's convert this player because if we put this one as 1 or 2, right? it's hard to calculate. So we have int value equals player equals 1, right? Then it is 1. Otherwise, just minus 1, right? So we'll say we'll have rows, row plus equal to value, columns, column plus equal to value, okay? Um, we have, okay? So we'll say if row equals column, right? So that is in this diagonal, right? And we'll have dg1 plus equal to value, okay? If row plus column equals n size, right? Minus 1. Size is n, right? So we'll have bg2 plus equal to value, okay? So we are trying to say int target value, right? Because size multiplied by value, okay? So we'll say if it only affects this row, this column, or this diagonal 1 and 2, right? If the row equals target value, or columns, right? Column equals target value, or dg1 equals target value, or dg2 equals target value. Right, we just return this player. Otherwise, it's type, right? Return 0. Okay. So this would be. Let's try to see any other test cases. No other test cases, just only one test case. Okay, so let's submit. So we'll say for this kind of question, for every operation, right? We just add that one to this kind of value, right? And also to this value, and then we check whether the diagonal need to add or not. So this is every move. It is just an O1 operation, right? We don't need to. Also, we just need to check this value. It goes to be the size, not right. And we have array that is this array that is ON, right? As a space complexity.